Live from San Antonio, Mike Taylor.
Well, we have another serial killer on our hands, and this time he's in Texas. We got a major celebrity death and a pissed-off Filipino. It's all coming up on Mike Taylor Live, presented in part by Hank the Realtor. Hank from Vortex Realty. He serves all over this area. He got on me yesterday and said, I just don't serve Bernie and New Braunfels and San Antonio. I serve all of the area. Every little town and every little nook and cranny and even the big cities. It is Hank the Realtor. There is a shortage of homes around these parts, so if you're thinking about selling, maybe taking advantage of the fact that it's hard to buy a house these days, maybe you can get top dollar for your house. See what your stuff is worth by getting a free market analysis is what they call it, and Hank will do it for free. Text him at 300-1121. Of course, that's 210-300-1121, and find out what your property's worth, man. Maybe you got a buddy who is wondering about selling. Hank's the guy. No obligations. He's Poodle Thunderdome. Call our guy Hank. If you need a real estate agent, call Hank.
Come on now, Hank.
Hank. All right. Tony Bennett's dead. Y'all see that this morning?
Refresh my memory on why I should care.
Well, because he's a legend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's awesome. He was awesome.
Well,
Love Tony
I think you
Bennett.
can still say he is awesome. His music is still awesome.
Yeah. And why don't? Well, so you don't care?
No. I was just surly this morning.
Oh.
I didn't get much sleep last night, and I didn't figure we'd be leading with Tony Bennett's death news
I just
today.
saw it this morning and creeped me out. I've seen Tony Bennett.
Really?
Yeah. Haven't seen him today though. Now that would be something.
Now then we would have a lead story.
I backed myself into that in my own corner. No, I saw him. I saw Tony. Was he 99? He was very old. I saw Tony Bennett play or sing with Celine Dion. Is there? I almost called her Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Because he's done stuff with Lady Gaga in recent years.
I think they won Grammys.
Yeah, and he had Alzheimer's already too when they won those Grammys. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because one of the few people that he remembered and recognized was Lady Gaga. And so she had a good friendship with him.
She's got a pretty unique, recognizable face.
Yeah. And he was able to get it together with her and sing his songs that a lot of them he had forgotten because he had Alzheimer's, unfortunately. But I saw him sing with Celine Dion in 2011 in Central Park with Andrea Bocelli, the classical Italian. Was he a tenor? Or whatever. If
you're going to see Tony Bennett, I would argue that's probably the best case scenario.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
That's not bad.
In the fall with a little drizzle in Central Park, that was pretty neat. All right, let's get this out of the way too before we get rolling with all our meat. LG, jump on here and explain to me why you're going to get Spotify to kick us off.
Wait, what?
He's at war with Spotify.
What happened?
We don't need to be getting people mad at us right now in these fledgling days of this show.
Yeah, it's a super long story, but
he's calling racism and xenophobia, all kind of bullshit.
Oh no! Don't tell me the gong is getting us kicked off Spotify.
No, he's calling Spotify racist.
Oh, okay.
Or
thought Spotify was calling us a racist.
Well, can we get a short version?
Yeah.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
He is ass whipped by this.
Yeah, I've been calling him out on all the socials.
I've seen it.
So we have analytics of our podcast that breaks down who's listening by what country.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got some listeners, according to Spotify, we've got some listeners in what they believe is the Dutch East Indies.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the Dutch East Indies?
From back in the day when they ran most of Asia, Dutch East Indies Trading Company.
The East Indian Trading Company. That was a different one.
I think I can see where his complaint is going.
So the Dutch East Indies ceased to be a country in 1949.
Yeah, that's correct. that's
Where did they even get an old flag? What does that even look like?
Well, here's more to the story. They just keep slapping whatever flag they want on there. It changes daily. The first time I looked, it was the Italian flag.
Okay.
The second day, it was the Swedish flag.
What country? Who are they trying to be?
Well, during the World War II, there was something called the Indonesian National Revolution, which kicked the Dutch colonizers out of Indonesia, and in 1949, the Kingdom of the Netherlands formally recognized Indonesia as a sovereign nation, no longer called the Dutch East Indies.
And Spotify, 80 years later, has yet to recognize.
Golly, man. You sure that's
They
just
did not
some,
get the memo, apparently.
See? Maybe they've got some damn AI
Whoa, wait a
robot in
second.
charge of this.
Isn't? Oh no, Spotify I think is Swedish.
They are
isn't it?
Swedish,
Yeah,
yes.
I was about to say
And
there is.
they did have a Swedish flag on there the other day.
What?
So, yeah. Next to the Dutch East Indies.
I wondered if it was some World War II era bad blood still.
So they keep changing the flag like once a week, but it's always the wrong. I almost think someone's
It's always
in there.
the wrong one.
I feel
Today,
like-
today it was the Bangladesh flag.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, either the
Well, okay, at
the
least that's closer than Sweden.
The AI robot doesn't know what it's doing, or there's a human who is just doing a bit at Spotify.
What map are they looking at? You know, like
Yeah,
what?
it's gotta be.
a map from World War II.
I guess.
or from World War One, from long before.
I'm
Even.
just happy we have people watching
20
this show
years
in other
before.
countries. What other countries are on the list off the top of your head? Like, what's the goofiest one you've seen?
Probably like Bosnia or something.
Bosnia.
We're big with the Baltics, the Azerbaijani. Well, I guess that's southern,
You
but
bet your ass would be.
yeah, Uzbekistan.
I'm thinking
loves us.
those are enlisted military people
or
that are watching this show.
or they're people sitting on the south side but using VPN.
Oh, can you do that?
Oh yeah,
Ah, well, let's
so
just,
that then they
I'd like
get
to think
unlimited
well,
streaming services from other countries.
I'd like to think that we're global, but it's probably what you just said. I just don't want it to be that way. All right, well,
I think it's a mixed bag.
maybe Spotify will respond. That is bullshit to be using a different flag all the time for a country that doesn't even exist. I mean, is there a such thing as a Dutch West Indies like Curaçao and Aruba? Like Andrew Jones, the baseball player, he speaks Dutch. That's a Dutch colony.
Yeah,
Those
but
islands
it's
were
not a Dutch
colonies.
colony
But
that
they
they
don't-
that they gave up in 1949.
Okay.
Right.
He's mad.
Well, of
Listen to
course.
him.
Yeah, like those are most of those are still under.
I'm just waiting
Dutch
for more.
flag.
I'm just waiting for analytics from Yugoslavia and the Kingdom of Mercia,
Yeah,
and,
Macedonia
you know,
coming back. Well, I guess Macedonia is back again.
Yeah.
It's been cycled through multiple times.
The Achaeans are checking in here from Troy. Yeah. God almighty. I'm hungover, y'all. I am. I got to figure out my drinking. So, and this has gradually happened where my tolerance is lower than it's ever been. And that's a good thing, I think. I'm just learning the hard way. Hey, dude, slow it down. Last night, we partied with Hank. Hank called and was like, hey, you ever go to Rockin' Brews? I'm like,
Funny enough, Hank.
although I don't live anywhere near there,
Oh,
I can
yes, right.
conveniently
No,
meet you.
you decide to drive 30 to 45 minutes
Well,
all the
he's
way
a new-
across town.
he's a new client.
because you love Rockin' Brews.
Well,
And
also
Hank.
it's Hank. You know,
Right.
he just met him. He's got a relationship with us. So
It
you know,
nowhere near connects by two parking lots to where you might or might not live.
nowhere near. And went over there and hung out with him, and we tore up Rockin' Brews. We tore up some of Puma's favorite places in town, Stoneworks.
Wait, you hit multiple locations?
We've been clubbing.
It's been a while since I've seen you hit multiple bars.
Yeah, well, they were all up there. Well, also, I wanted to go see Cleto last night, and Cleto did his that stand-up comedian network he's got. They did their thing at Mi Familia there at the Rim. So, okay, cool. I'm already going to go see Cleto tonight. Just looking for shit to do because
Sure.
Nina's out of town, and Cleto invited me, so sure, why not?
Could have watched that riveting Canada-Nigeria game.
Didn't have any idea. Are we talking soccer, I'm assuming, or hockey or
so-
something? Or horse racing?
Yes, the vaunted Nigerian women's hockey program. Yes.
Ostrich racing between those Nigerians and the Canadians. So I was a suburban warrior last night. Rockin'
sounds like
Brews
it.
and Stoneworks and Mi Familia. So shout out to Cleto. Hey, the point is,
Shout out to the north side.
had 2 Carbox and then had 2 Ranch Waters in honor of you.
Hey.
Yeah. And I wanted to see what all the rave was about. It was fun.
It's just tequila.
Yeah, the problem
Yeah.
is I just kept drinking it.
That's fair.
And then we went over to Mi Familia, and I had, I think, 2 more margaritas.
Oh, now we're
Yeah,
talking.
I'm hurting, dude. Like old school, like regular margaritas.
Right,
So,
right.
A little hungover and full of sugar today, so I got to stop drinking. I can't do that anymore. I'm to the point in my life now where I just have to stop or just slow down and mix in water in between. Like those days of me going out and just chugging beers with, and of course Hank's 6'4".
Oh yeah.
All my friends except him are giants.
Yeah. Well, that's why
weird.
that's why it's the two of y'all that are letting out Liberian Gritos all by yourselves in public.
Right. So, my little 5'9" guy liver is like, dude, you need to tap out earlier now. You're 48 years old.
But your barrio mentality is
right.
like,
The machismo's like,
I'm
fuck
fine.
that
I'll
shit.
never back down.
Mike fucking Taylor shit. So no,
Mike Taylor, Jr., second base.
I gotta chill out. So I'm a little hungover today. So if I'm a little slower to speak, I apologize. But we will still get our job done and kick ass. I got serial killer to get into. But first, let's talk about my boy Brad Hardwick. That's another guy. See, it's a new relationship. If he calls and says, hey, I needed you to drive 45 miles to drink beer with me, I'm probably going to do it. I just got to make sure I got to mix in water and know when to stop and eat the right foods with it. It is Hardwick Mortgage. If you're thinking about upgrading a house, maybe downgrading, that's fine too. Maybe you just want to sell, or maybe you just want to, see what you might be able to get pre-qualified for and then go from there. Call Brad at Hardwick Mortgage. We talked about this with Hank. Home values have gone way up significantly over these years, and you can maybe you've got some equity built up, and you got some other debt, or you need some cash, or you just want to move, or whatever. Call Brad Hardwick at Hardwick Mortgage and see what you can get pre-qualified for if you're in the market to buy. Not just homes either. If you're looking to buy some acreage, he can do that too. If you're looking to buy maybe one of these manufactured homes that comes with a bunch of land, you can do that too. It is Brad Hardwick at Hardwick Mortgage. The website is hardwickmortgage.com. This information is presented for informational purposes, and it is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Information and/or dates are subject to change without notice, and all loans are subject to credit approval. Other restrictions may apply. As a result of refinancing, your total finance charges may be higher over the life of the loan. Visit hardwickmortgage.com. It is Hardwick Financial Services, Inc., NMLS 1972012. That's another reason not to come to work hungover.
Reading
What
the
I just
disclaimer.
did. Yes, God almighty. Anyway, so hi, Brad. It's Hardwick Mortgage. Okay. But I'm hungover and I got a headache, but at least there's lots of quality content to get into. We got a serial killer.
Yeah, you've mentioned that 4 times now, and you've grown progressively giddy every time you've brought it up.
Yeah, and I don't want to say unfortunately. Fortunately, he's been caught before he was able to kill again because he's just getting started. Rookie. He only killed 3.
I was about to say, with 3?
Yeah.
How have I not heard about this? Here in the state?
In Dallas.
Huh.
They popped him last night. 25-year-old scumbag from the Metro Sex got popped. Actually, Wednesday night's when they arrested him technically, and they believe he's the guy who has been stalking neighborhoods all over the Dallas area, and he is responsible for at least 3 deaths. And that's all that they think he's done. But they're just, how they get these guys and they interrogate the shit out of them and see if they can get him to come clean on other maybe cold case murders. He's only 25 years old. So, this is not one of those things where that asshole in New York who got caught, that guy's in his late 50s, and he's been killing for over 20-plus years, the guy up in Long Island. This was a younger man here, so thank God he got caught, because had he not been caught, he would have been this would have lasted 10 years of killing people in Texas.
How recent are the murders?
Let me look up these facts. So it's another one of these. He's going to kill, what do you millennials call whores now? Sex workers.
Sex workers.
Sex workers. So I'm pulling up the Dallas Morning News here. Garcia is his name. Oh, damn it. He's a God dang it.
Man.
Orale. Normally it's big old tall white guy. You know how y'all roll.
And I heard Dallas, and I thought surely that's
Some 6'5"
gonna be some
dude from
messed out.
Mesquite.
Yeah.
Named
Azel.
Some dude named Brady.
Yeah, some dude named Azel driving into South Dallas to do his killing.
No, something called Oscar Sanchez Garcia. Oscar Garcia has been arrested in connection with at least 3 homicide investigations in and around southwest Dallas.
Okay, well, I was right
If you
about
know
the
your
location.
Dallas geography. Garcia is believed to be a serial killer who allegedly killed Kimberly Robinson, 60 years old, in late April.
Wait,
Killed a 60.
60-year-old sex worker?
I think so. Let me take my teeth out. It's better.
Yeah, okay, I've got more questions, but
Then he allegedly killed someone, a 25-year-old girl named Cherish Gibson.
pick
I
her up
want me
after
some
her,
glory hole.
2 months
after
later
her shift at the TU club.
in the Oak Cliff neighborhood near the Trinity River. He's just, it's easy. These hookers are easy. You pick them up, you take them to an isolated location on purpose so y'all don't get caught, and it's easier to kill them. And no one cares about them because they're whores and sex workers, or whatever you want me to call them.
Love you long time.
The third victim is yet to be identified, but they just found her body last week on the 15th, so just 6 days
so
ago.
that's pretty recent.
2 of the women that were killed are believed to be sex workers, the other 60-year-old and the 25-year-old. Probably should reevaluate. You probably should reevaluate when you're 60 and selling old school nookie. Huh?
Okay, time out though.
Man.
There could be an argument to be made where,
Or is she really good?
And she does it for the love of the game at that point.
Yeah,
it's like
or maybe she
Edgar Martinez holding on
Sure.
and turning into developing the DH role into what we look at today.
R.A. Dickey discovered the knuckleball and pitched 10 more years in the big leagues. Maybe she found another pitch.
Yeah, yes, she blew her arm
What?
out, so to speak.
What did she do?
So to speak, she didn't have the 100-mile-an-hour heater anymore,
Yeah.
so she had to get creative.
Well, maybe she's a two-way player.
Yeah,
she
I
was a
think-
pitcher, but you know what? I can do some first base and DHing.
Save the body a little bit. God.
Oh, Lord.
R.A. Dickey.
University of Tennessee zone.
To
I believe he's a
describe-
Tennessee volunteer.
I believe
you
you're
bet
correct.
you he damn sure
To
is a Tennessee
describe
volunteer.
the
Well,
serial killing of sex workers. Only here. Only
wait.
here.
Well, so one chick got away from him. That's how he got
That's always
caught.
how they get caught.
An alleged victim who claims she escaped a serial killer on June 23rd of last month, told the Dallas Weekly, which chose to withhold her name. The woman told Dallas Weekly that she is also a sex worker who returned to working on Harry Hines Boulevard.
It's always Harry Hines.
I know. They should change the name of that street. Golly.
Name
I
it
don't
Jerry
know.
Jones Boulevard.
Sure. Who the hell is Harry Hines?
He was the
Poor guy.
no,
he would have
wasn't-
told him, you know what? Don't name the street after me if it's going to go this way.
Pretty sure, wasn't he one of the original developers of Dallas?
Sure.
I think.
She claimed that she had a run-in with a quote Mexican with black hair and a low haircut. He's got the marb.
He's got the Edgar.
He's got the
Oh,
Edgar.
no. No.
She said that she witnessed this man pick up the 60-year-old Miss Gibson, only to return to Harry Hines Boulevard hours later and then asked her for her services. And she's like, wait, I just saw you pick up whoever the other lady was. And he's like, no, I want you. He's saying, okay. So this says the alleged victim was assaulted after she told the man that he was going over the time he purchased.
Ah.
The woman told Dallas Weekly that she punched him in the face and jumped out of the vehicle and ran off. So
Well-
she realized, wait, okay, she probably did her business, got her money, and he's like, okay, now let's go here. She's like, no, I didn't pay it. We're not going on a date, bro. It's just a 10-minute hookup here.
That also means that he
was going to kill her.
Well,
Golly.
it also means that he was getting his money's worth before he did the killing.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's part of the, God almighty.
I don't know. That
Jeez.
adds a whole nother level of psychosis.
All right, that's it. So at least they caught the guy. I'm just goofing. I don't want these guys to get away for 20 years. I just can't help. I'm infatuated with it when they do. I don't know how to explain that. I don't want there to be serial killers, but I can't stop reading about them. I don't know what it says about me psychologically, but it is what it is. All right, become a member of this show for $6. Subscribe to it for free. Like us on YouTube. Listen and watch us on Spotify. Donate to the cause via Super Chat and buymeacoffee.com/Mike Taylor Live. Tell your homies, tell your buddies. I'm still getting notes this week from Thunderdomers wondering where to find us, like guys on Twitter or Facebook. People have sent me messages, where are y'all? So I don't want us to take for granted that everybody just knows that we're here now. So I want to continue to pump that up. All right, what else today? It is Elite Collision, the official collision center of Thunderdome, and Mike Taylor Live just north of the rim off of I-10. It's EliteCollisionofBernie.com, locally owned and operated by local South Texas, San Antonio area people. If you're in an auto accident, or if you've been in one, and you're riding around with messed up body on your car and you got dents and stuff, time to fix it, Thunderdome, by going to our place. It is Elite Collision, right off of I-10, exit 542 in Bernie, just north of the Rim. It's family-owned and operated. You can make weekly appointments that are available especially for Thunderdomers. They work with all insurances, and they do private pay, of course. So whether you've got collision issues, or a fender bender, hail damage, need some paint work done because of said damage, it is EliteCollisionofBernie.com. Where your car gets beat, call Elite. It is EliteCollisionofBernie.com. All right, what else today? We had a lot of news items. Oscar De La Hoya has sent out a tweet. He's got a documentary coming out too now, I think.
Yeah, and he's been... Have you seen some of his interactions with anonymous folks on Twitter?
I read one tweet where I didn't see the anonymous folk interaction. What did he say?
Well,
Go fuck yourself.
Pretty much. Yeah. He's promoting his new documentary, and of course, the first thing people want to randomly ask him about on Twitter is, hey, are we going to get the full story? Including the fishnets and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he is...
Of course not.
Or
are we?
He has responded and said, it's all there. And has very directly called people out for, like, if that's all you care about, it's going to be there, but basically fuck you for asking.
Well, hey, dude, you're the one that needs the attention so bad to make a documentary about your shit. And that's just so there's, Netflix is doing one on Jerry Jones. There ain't no way we're going to get fun baby talk and, 3 whores with my son on the bus. We're not going to get that shit. It's going to be all a bunch of fluff, NFL Network, NFL film stuff. I'm going to watch it. I'm probably going to hate it because it's not going to have the real and inside story. All right, so
do you have the original tweet he put out? Read it, and then I'll read you some of the replies below.
Okay, cool. Because I only have the tweet promoting the documentary. Let's see. If you're a fan, a hater, a lost soul, or just an individual who's happy and figuring out life one day at a time, a documentary about my life will debut on HBO May 24 and 25 of this month. Let's just say that all that shit you talk about me is nothing compared to what I live. I'm a fucking champion. I'll fight anybody. I'll kick anybody's ass anytime, anywhere, any fucking place, motherfucker. I'm so happy I can do this character and actually say fuck all the time too now, bitch. Are we going to get the cocaine? Are we going to get the DWIs? I doubt it.
Feels like there was some editorial addition at the end.
I took liberties. Yeah. Well, okay, give me the replies.
So, first reply. Will we get to see you model some of those other dresses you have?
Okay,
Oscar's
cool.
reply.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Oscar's reply.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were into that, then you will just have to wait and watch for yourself.
Cool.
Another one, do we get a feature of you in the fishnet? And he replies back, again, if you're into it, you'll just have to watch for yourself.
Cool.
So alluding to the fact, also AJ asked him, is Fred Loya in it?
Of course he did. Hey, don't be fucking with Fred Loya.
As soon as I read that, I choke laugh.
Oh, God. He was so badass when he was younger and rakish and debonair, and the world loved him, and many people still do love the dude. Mexicanos mostly. But that guy's he is a mess, and he has been for a while. I don't know how he's still running Golden Boy. I bet he's just, at this point, it wouldn't shock me if we find out that, like, 10 years from now, back during these days of Golden Boy, he was just basically a figurehead, and he's a name and a face.
We missed a golden opportunity because he was actually in San Antonio a couple weeks ago when we had all those fights on Saturday after we met at Lupe Tortilla.
Yeah.
That night, he was at the AT&T Center, Oscar himself.
Well, I didn't get that memo.
Nobody did.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So, shout out to Oscar. I'm going to watch this documentary.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No question. Absolutely. All right.
Isn't there at least some value in the fact that he knows he's a mess and has basically embraced it at this point?
I think he has kind of embraced it.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't feel like there's as much effort to hide the messy parts of his life anymore, or his actions, or his addictions.
Right. Own it.
That's why cool. I love it.
It makes me like you if you own it, like Mike Tyson owned it.
It's a little Tiger Blood, Charlie Sheen-esque of just being like,
go for it.
I do a bunch of cocaine and nail hookers. Like, that's who I am.
Yeah.
I've got tiger blood flowing through me.
We're trying to resurrect some of our old drops. This reminds me of cocaine isn't cheap.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We missed that one.
What's his name? UFC guy, right?
Dana White.
That's Dana White.
Ripping him for being
Oscar.
a cokehead.
Yeah.
I got a late ass whip today. And this is going to come off as me ducking Dak, which is fine. Media members, prominent ones who knowingly sensationalize for the hell of it and the clicks and the fun and the views, but then don't walk it back. Like, we hadn't even gotten to this week. I've been busy doing other shit. You see earlier this week where the Fort Worth Star-Telegram wrote that Dak said, no way I'll have 10 interceptions this year. I won't even have 10.
Yeah.
And they wrote it as such. Like Dak says he won't even have 10 interceptions. That's not at all what he said. The Star-Telegram of Fort Worth, my hometown paper, completely fucked that up. But, of course, 3 days go by.
Oh, it gets
and
aggregated.
It gets annihilated all over the country.
Well, and it gets aggregated by hundreds of other sports outlets or sources or blogs or whatever.
Dak said he had 10 interceptions last year that got tipped. He said, I need to get better with my accuracy. I need to get better with my accuracy. And my receivers and I need to be on better pages. And, oh, by the way, receivers need to do a little better job. He didn't throw them under the bus. It's all those things. Basically what he says was, I had 10 interceptions last year that were tipped because of bad throw or inaccurate route. He didn't go to the right spot, and he got tipped and intercepted. And he's like, "There's no way it's not gonna happen again. You don't get 10 pick balls that get intercepted in a season.
You would think,
right? So surely it's not gonna happen. That's the point he was making. That doesn't mean that he's not fair game for his accuracy, his playoff debacles, his injuries, the fact that he's immobile now. All that's still fair game, but you have to be fair to the guy. But that's what we do. And we have so many assholes in this country that are media members. Everybody can have an outlet now. And because everybody can have an outlet.
Careful.
I know. Look, I write columns for Sports Illustrated.
Case
in point.
Multiple outlets. You're a multimedia journalist.
Right. This guy.
Multi-platform.
Too many people have media gigs in this world, man. And so what you have to be careful with is when you're wrong, fucking walk it back. You think Screaming A. Smith is going to turn out and apologize to Dak for overreacting today? No. He's on to the next hunk of meat. And guys like him and bunches like him that have no problem twisting the truth because they're a bunch of 52-yard punts. They just say what they mean, and
the money's good.
They just say what's up, and then when it gets proven wrong, it's been 2 days ago. Forget that. The Star-Telegram should walk that back and say that the reporter misunderstood Dak. Don't say. I'm not saying whoever wrote the piece is a liar. He just misinterpreted what Dak told him or said in the media scrum. All right, we need help with the ABA Alamo City All-Stars. Puma and I would love to do their games this year. But we need to be able to string enough technology together and support. The season starts in October, which I'm pumping this early because, October will be here before you know it. The great Johnny Moore, who was on with us earlier this week, is the coach, and they need a place to play games, and we're trying to stream their games. If you are interested in helping us do games, Thunderdome, you want to see me and Puma and LG and others go to all the Alamo City All-Stars games this year and call the games? You ever wondered what it would be like to have me and Sam call basketball games? I have wondered that myself. I think we'd be pretty good at it. It can't be cussing, but
Sure.
take out all the cussing. I think we'd be pretty good at it. So if you want to help us out, or if you're interested in figuring out how to do so, what that would look like, hit me up, slide into my DMs. Okay, what else? Puma wanted to get into ranking Cowboy players based on guys whose contracts are either up, about to come up, or even Zach Martin, who's threatening to not work anymore.
Or even guys that if you don't extend them this offseason, you potentially are going to have the option next offseason to cut bait and move on at the position.
Okay. I'm assuming that the top of the list is number 4.
I think that's where it starts. I think, and that's where, I was thinking about it more last night because the Zach Martin news has really shifted the way I think about the Cowboys cap structure now. Because that is completely, it was so unexpected I mean, it makes sense. You understand. It's justified. I completely understand it.
Yeah.
But it was so unexpected. We've sat here for a month and talked about guys like, I mean, we had the whole conversation about, would you rather have 6 Dorrance Armstrongs or 1 Micah Parsons if the price was the same?
Sure.
We've talked about Micah's extension. We've talked about Trayvon's extension. We've talked about even Terrence Steele's extension. Well, now all of a sudden, Zach Martin has entered the chat, and he's got to usurp all of those guys listed in terms of immediacy. But I still think at the top of that list, it's got to be Dak. Because after this, if they don't restructure this offseason, next year they could potentially move on. Could get out, I think it'd be something stupid like a $50 million cap hit, but you're done.
Yeah.
It's out.
It's one bad year.
One bad year, and you can move on at the position.
They can't.
But they can't.
They've got too many good players.
Exactly. Like, you're in no position to do that, to punt on the quarterback position and restart with the way the rest of this roster is structured.
That's right.
So it's got to start with Dak.
Okay.
And Dak should get done by the end of Oxnard. It's got to.
This summer.
Yeah. Zach Martin, you've got to get done by the end of Oxnard. Like, those are the two that have to get done basically within the next month.
Right. They need to do right by Zach Martin, period. So in this, they weren't caught blinded by this. There's no way. I refuse to believe, they had their offseason plan. All of a sudden, now Zach Martin's decided to threaten to hold out, and he's just completely topsy-turvy the list.
Well, they've known since March.
That he probably let them know this is the last time I'm restructuring.
Yeah.
And I want you to make up for this, this summer. He didn't just decide, fuck you, out of nowhere and pull the rug out from underneath them. They had to have seen this coming, and if they didn't, then that's on them. And I don't blame Zach Martin. He's 8th at his position in pay?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
And
make it Zach Martin's night.
Look, get the
fuck out of here, man. It's my night.
As much as I am the resident sports video game player in this room on this show,
you are.
It is whipping my ass to hear actual accredited good journalist quote Madden ratings to describe the Zach Martin situation. I don't. He's a 99 overall rating on Madden this year. I don't know how you don't give him his money. No.
Again, too many people have outlets.
Why are you quoting? I love the video. I love the game. I love playing it. I love knowing all of the ratings. Why are you quoting that in your piece, talking about why he's deserving of a contract extension? That's insane.
For the layman, I guess.
But even for the layman,
who comes up with Madden ratings? They
there's
use real football people?
Yes and no. I mean, they have a whole team. They're actually, for the most part, EA's pretty decent with the ratings, and they do update them. Like if a dude takes off, like last year, Tyler Smith's rating during training camp was way different than what it was at the end of the season. It was like a 10-point difference by the time.
Yeah.
But it's just so annoying to hear a national ESPN guy reference Madden ratings to describe.
He's a 99.
He's 99. You got to do it. It's a clear decision. You get it done. He's 99 overall.
That guy's technically correct. The source he's going with, though, is probably
right. And this is where instead, yesterday or 2 days ago, we were sitting here talking about all of his run blocking efficiency, pass blocking number.
He's top 10 in all of them.
He's top 10 in all of them, but he fluctuates. I mean, he's 3 in some, he's 8 in others, and depending, you see. But no, he's a 99 overall, bro. You just got to give him his money. You can't get better than that. They agreed, and that's the annoying thing is that guy is right.
Oh,
but
he's just back ass right.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pay Zach Martin. He's clearly after Dak. You got to take care of Zach Martin,
and then it gets interesting.
He's more important because if you don't have him, the whole offensive line is in flux.
Sure,
he's got a little older. I'll make this point. We'll get back to the rest of your list. He's a little older. Sure, has he lost a step? No, maybe he's lost a couple of toes on that one step.
Fair.
And Cibolo's own Terrence Steele, who plays next to him and played pretty well last year, got hurt. They had some uncertainties at right tackle, which is why they're probably good. At this point, they want to move Tyron Smith over to right tackle and play next to Zach Martin. So, I mean, you know how the offensive line is. It's kind of like Genesis in the Bible. So-and-such begat so-and-such begat so-and-such. It's one unit of 5 dudes. And if one dude goes down, it affects the rest of the dudes. I'm not making excuses for Zach Martin for being the 8th best right guard in the game. But, and of course, the Cowboys don't give a shit what Madden or Pro Football Focus or anybody thinks. They're going to do what's right by them based on their evaluations and their salary cap. That being said, though, with all the questions they've got with Tyron Smith getting older, Terrence Steele coming off a blown-out knee, an okay center in Tyler Biotish, who I think's a free agent next year.
We'll get to him.
You got to sign Zach Martin now.
Yeah.
So I agree.
And that's the names you read. If restructuring Zach Martin and committing more money to him over the next 2-3 seasons, if that takes you out of the running of re-signing Biotish, fine. If that's the casualty, buy.
Yeah, you can make do without him for a year.
Even if that means potentially not having the money available to commit Terrence Steele the 4 years, $50 million extension that's being floated.
Mm-hmm.
You still got to. Zach Martin is the higher priority there. If you're telling me keeping one means losing the other, I'm still fine giving Zach Martin his money if it means losing basically his counterparts on both sides of him on the line.
Right. All right.
This is where it gets interesting next.
Right. All right. Okay. And this is like an asshole broadcaster. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's talk about the most
a word.
Hey, man, the best youth soccer club in San Antonio. Gosh, just on sheer numbers alone, but they are. There's a reason why they got so many kids that want to play in that club because they're awesome. The official soccer club of Thunderdome is the San Antonio City Soccer Club. That organization's home games have proven to be an incredibly popular attraction around here. They have drawn in not just local people, but they bring in teams from all over the place. They have different tournaments over there. A significant number of players and families from various locations come into play for SA City, and that is largely due to the wide range of leagues that they offer over there. They cater to different levels of competition, from the national platform to local leagues, from 4 years old all the way up into college age. And what we need, the official San Antonio City Soccer Club of this show, what we need are people to help sponsor. We need naming rights. They just built 8 new, because of the demand, they built 8 new beautiful fields up on the north side, and we need your help, Thunderdome. You get your name put on a field. You got thousands of people that will come in all year long to see your company's name right there on that field. Copa tournaments. Teams come in from Mexico. Those tournaments are a popular attraction around here from neighboring states and borders. They've got the Copa del Rey and the Copa Alamo Clásico, Copa San Antonio, Copa Primavera. These are a lot of people coming in here, and they will see your company's name right there on one of those fields. So hit me up if you're interested in helping sponsor. Or maybe you got 10 buddies y'all want to go in together, because it'll be cheaper for everybody. It is the official soccer club of Thunderdome, San Antonio City Soccer Club. Okay, we got the big 2 dudes out of the way. Who's third?
I think that this is where, obviously there's going to be arguments about Dak at the top, but we can agree you're not going to let him walk with the
Correct.
team.
I'd like us to not get stopped down.
It's back-to-back 12-win seasons. They're restructuring his deal. He's coming back.
They almost have to.
Right.
Yeah.
We obviously Zach Martin. If you're retaining Dak, you're retaining Zach Martin. You're going all in. You're trying to win. So
correct.
Those 2 are locked in.
See.
Number 3 is where I think you have the most room for debate or confrontation argumentatively.
How many people are on this list?
Well, I think the rest of the available.
You got the top 2, and then tier 2 is who?
CD, Trayvon.
Yeah.
Terrence Steele, Tyler Biotish, Tony Pollard.
Okay.
And then Micah, who's still a year after those guys. But the first group, those first 4 names are all up at the end of the year.
Yeah. My opinions will get trashed by Thunderdome. 80% of them. Because I don't give a shit if you bring CeeDee Lamb back or not. I damn sure don't give a shit if you bring Tony Pollard back or not. And Trayvon Diggs, I need to think about it.
See, we've seen what this offense looks like without a number 1 receiver, though.
Well, okay, then that's what drafts are for, and free agency and stuff like that.
Fair.
When is CD up?
Next. I think they technically could have a 5th-year option on him.
All right.
I think.
Make his ass earn it. These wide receivers, and you're right, he's good, very good. And they
he's
do
got
need
one
a,
more
quote,
year after
number one wide receiver, whatever that looks like.
But that would be a franchise.
It's not necessary to have a top 5 wide receiver to win the Super Bowl. It's not necessary. The Chiefs let that kid go to Miami, Kareem Hunt.
You can't use that, though, because that's the top 3 quarterback potentially all time.
Understood, but you still can't manage. You still have to manage your football team like you have an elite quarterback, which they do. They have a top 10 guy in the league. Who's going to, would you say the hit would be if they cut him next year? Dak, $50 million?
I think.
See, my brain gets tired because, and it sucks. We have,
Get tired head.
Yeah, because the fucking NFL and its communism reign, the communism that the
best
NFL
kind.
operates with, where you got an owner here that just bought the Redskins or the Commanders or whatever they're called.
They won't be the Commanders in 2 years anyway. He
God.
hates that name.
Good.
They're going to change
This
it.
guy just spent $6 billion on Washington Football Commander. Jerry's worth what? $10 billion?
15.
But there's a salary cap because these assholes also are greedy and don't want to pay anybody. So you have to look at, that's why, if there was no salary cap, I'd say, fuck yeah, give $100 million to CeeDee Lamb, no problem. But because there is, that's why I don't think you need to be paying a top 5 wide receiver that kind of money when you've got Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott and Trevon Diggs and whoever the hell else.
Like
Zach Martin.
Look at the difference.
Those are more important.
Look at the difference A.J. Brown had in Philadelphia this year.
Sure,
the
for a
Eagles
year.
immediately went to a Super Bowl.
For a year.
Like, they were not that explosive
That's
of
the
a
reason
team
why
2 years
and
ago
that's the
without
other reason
him.
why that the owners screw the players in the collective bargaining negotiations every 4 years is because it's such a fleeting league where the average guy is only in the league 3 years. They make it to where they can cut your ass like that. Now it's going to hurt their salary cap, but they can cut. They're mercenaries,
And that's the whole.
so you can't give a guy a 5-year contract when he may not even be healthy in a year's football. I would make CD earn every nickel of whatever I'm going to pay him by playing all the way to the end of his deal.
So and then franchise tag
Maybe.
for a
And
year
and
or
that's-
maybe 2.
And that furthers my point too. That the owners go out of their way to not have to give these kids, the elite ones, all this kind of money.
Sure.
It's a crazy league where it's almost like you get punished for being awesome.
Yes.
That's what's going on with
That's
the running backs.
100%, yeah.
Sure. You're punished for being terrific. It's crazy.
Well, and that's a couple
So
things.
that's my long way of saying I would like to think about it before they give CeeDee Lamb $80 million.
The Zach Martin one specifically, I've seen a lot of the chatter of, well, he signed the contract. Why doesn't he just play out the last 2 years of it?
that's
Why is he
also
he's
stupid.
a selfish asshole. You got to put the team first. He
That's-
signed the deal.
that's
he knew,
just as stupid.
Exactly, because the owner could just as easily look what happened with Zeke signed the deal. Did Dallas hold their end of the bargain? No, they cut him, and they cut the last 3 years off the back end of that deal.
Right.
Like that would be
Sure.
That's why Zach Martin is not honoring the last 2 years on this deal because that's not how the league's economics work.
Shouldn't be any fucking contract.
But if
I hate
you-
contracts.
Oh, trust me, Bubba, you
For
and I
more-
both.
Yeah.
For more years. No, so in a vacuum, though, it sounds like you would value Trayvon Diggs more in a contract extension than you would CD Lamb. Because I think that's
me-
the debate.
ask me
That's
after
the
the
argument.
season.
And that's completely fair. But also, if CD goes out there and takes another leap, it's the same it's the Dak argument. If they had signed Dak 18 months before they did, they would have saved $20 million a season.
Sure.
15 million. It would have been about 25 instead of 40 like it ended up
But
being.
he ain't a quarterback, CD.
No.
They don't have to keep him forever just because he's good and they like him and he's a good dude and all the fans like his jersey and he's got cool hair.
That's why he's going to stay. I think
Well, that's also a Dallas problem.
Yeah, that's the
With the
that's
Patriots,
more
the
of
Patriots would be like, later, bye Felicia. They don't give a shit.
Well, and how much success have they had since they
Well,
lost?
they lost their guy.
Right.
They're like the Spurs after Timmy retired. Anyway, we're getting off. We're getting
Sure.
off. It's a toss up. I need to see another season.
I think you're
of CeeDee
going to
Lamb
get
and
that.
Trayvon.
You're going to get that because I would not, with all the business they need to do now.
Yeah.
I would expect those two to get pushed down the line a little bit because now they knew they had to get Dak renegotiated.
Mm-hmm.
That still hasn't been done. Now they know they've got to renegotiate Zach Martin. That they've known that apparently since March and haven't made any progress to the point where now he's threatening to hold out and he's tweeting for the first time in over 2 years. That tells you
Zach
how.
Martin?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Right.
It's
a PR campaign
Zach
now.
Martin's not the kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy that just go in there all of a sudden just flip the table like, what the fuck?
Right.
He's a guy. He
feels done bad. He feels done rotten.
He feels done bad, for sure. He feels done bad.
How's
you
that?
know what I mean.
I was never good at talking anyways.
I've got a lot better at this YouTube.
There it is.
Okay. It's Live Oak Vodka, the official vodka of Thunderdome. I have an announcement to make. I've not told either one of you. What are y'all doing next Wednesday?
Well, why don't you tell me what I'm doing next Wednesday?
Are you a single man again next week?
I believe so.
Okay. We're going to do a Live Oak Vodka tasting.
Oh, very nice.
At McFinnigan's, the official bar of Thunderdome. 410 in Blanco. Come out and sip the official vodka of our show, Live Oak Vodka, based in Beeville, Texas. That's where they distill that stuff down there. It is the only vodka that I'll drink henceforth. And I like vodka. I don't drink it every day, but when I do, I don't always drink vodka, but when I do, it's Live Oak Vodka, the official vodka of us. They are Boodle Thunderdome. They're based down at Coastal Bend Distillery in Beeville, Texas. In 2022, the Ultimate Spirits Challenge, they got a 91-point rating for their superior vodka that's made with all Texas products. It's Texas's vodka. It's our vodka. It is Live Oak Vodka. And next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, I'm going to host a Live Oak tasting. So y'all come out and drink a little vodka. Put some cranberry in it or drink it straight or put some club soda. I'm sure and they're going to send their guys out to hang out with me. And they'll probably have all kinds of different combinations you can sip. So come out and try some Live Oak with us on Wednesday night, the official vodka, Live Oak Vodka. All right, what else on Cowboys?
I'm
just scared to death to do anything, man. And it's the salary cap's fault.
But
they've turned me into a conservative puss.
But
I have to be.
Doesn't that lead you to be more surprised by the fact that we know they were talking 4 years, 50 million, 52 million with Terrence Steele? With all of this other business,
maybe that's why Zach's gotten. Maybe that was the last straw.
Yeah, because
you're going to do Steele.
What is that average? What is 4 years, 52 million average?
More than Zach Martin makes.
Exactly the same, 13 million.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Exactly, and the fact that number specifically got floated out there, and immediately Zach Martin said, "Hey, I think I'm going to hold out until y'all rework my deal first."
Yeah.
It feels like that. That's where I really start to get nervous about how they are, because we've talked extensively about the upcoming Micah Parsons need for an extension. Before that, it's the CD and Trayvon. Those three are way higher priorities in my eyes than Terrence Steele. No offense to Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele's been a godsend when he's been healthy on that offensive line. Did not expect to have such less of a drop off when La'el Collins left. Had very moderate to low expectations for him, and he has far exceeded them. But the fact that they're going to possibly extend him before they get a deal with CD, Trayvon, or now Zach Martin, or even Dak for that matter, that's concerning.
It is. By the way, Terrence, call me. I texted you 3 times last year trying to get you to come on the show, and you ghosted me. I'm happy that you're on the Cowboys. I'm happy you're good. Remember last year?
I do now.
I got his phone number from his mom. Don't ask me how, but I met Terrence Steele's mom, and she was like, "Oh, he'd love to come on."
I'm sure he would.
And I was going to promote a camp that he was going to do up at Steele High School. And you should have. And I felt like a bitch after the third text. I felt like, hey, how come you're not? Why aren't you replying to my text?
Are you getting my messages?
I know. Are they not going through? I might have gotten the number wrong.
Yeah, maybe there's no service in the mountains. I'd forgotten about that.
Just go block motherfuckers, dude. Just get your knee healthy. It's fine.
And then the other name is Tyler Biotish. Who? Yeah,
I mentioned Farniok yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't love him. I think that if you have to survive a year with someone else because you got to sign other people because of your communist salary cap, Farniok can buy you a season, I think.
Well, and what was the?
I hope.
I mean, granted, they drafted him as a tackle and then moved him to guard, and
He's been all over.
Well, Farniok, yes, but the other guy, the guy that the one return for Amari Cooper, Waletzko.
Oh,
The guy who's been
forgot
hurt.
he was alive.
Exactly. So there's guys like there's Waletzko, there's Farniok, there's Josh Ball. There's a bunch of these third to fifth round former draft picks that have just been practice squad or backup so far. So if you're telling me like Biotish is a cap casualty, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, one of those guys can hold it down for a year, or you just turn around because what was Biotish? 4th round pick?
Yeah.
Fifth round pick, you turn around and just
expensive.
draft another one.
And I don't love free agency. That's not how you build title champions. There are with exceptions. You can
That's
find
what
you can find
free
a decent
agency can
center.
put you over the top.
Yeah, you can find a decent center
Sure.
in free agency, and it won't cost you an arm, a kidney, and a left ball, or a Josh Ball,
Or a Josh Ball.
or a Josh Ball. I have a late punch. As we're in the middle of Big John Southern Plantation Country Media Days this week. I have a late punch to Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher. Punch his ass.
What are you doing punching him now? Come on now.
For that bullshit. I'm punching Jimbo Fisher for being arrogant and touchy and prideful and just an asshole.
He's kind of always been that. Though.
Yeah, and he's essentially all the things he called Nick Saban last year around this time.
Oh,
He's all the same shit.
you think everybody at home got clean closets? You got skeletons in people's closets you don't even know about. You go somewhere, you learn how to do things the wrong way. You want to come here, you learn how to do things the right way.
Lane Kiffin, his best buddy up at Ole Miss, called his ass out too this week. Lane Kiffin, I love Lane Kiffin.
Lane's so
I love
great.
him. He on purpose went on a
So
5-minute.
great.
Lane Kiffin yesterday went on a 5-minute, basically seminar how great it is for the conference that UT's coming in, just to fuck with Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, it's great.
That's all he was doing, and we all knew it. It was cringeworthy. We knew what he was doing.
Sure.
He's like a 20-year-old chick, and I love it.
And he's got the full like fake tan.
You see the hair
going
too?
and
It's all pretty and disheveled on purpose. He just needs puka shells and a straw hat.
Pretty much. He looks like he's ready for the Creed 99
Oh, he can't wait.
Caribbean cruise.
Sure.
Going on.
3 doors down too?
Oh,
yeah. So, no, but Jimbo said 2 days ago, he was asked about Bobby. They brought in Bobby Petrino. He's going to come make the offense even better, get y'all over the top. Can't wait for him to call plays. What do you think about that? And Jimbo's like, well, I hope he winds up calling plays. Wait, what?
Huh?
Fuck you talking about?
You brought him in as your offensive coordinator.
Right. Jimbo says hopefully Petrino will call plays for us this year. What was he dying? What the fuck are you talking about?
Did he buy a new motorcycle? Is he not going to be
Right. Did you catch him scissoring
Is
with
the road
2 chicks in
rash
the what do we
blocking
have?
his vision or
I don't know. But I don't know. Is he spreading venereal disease across the dorms? I mean, what the
Give it
why
time.
wouldn't he call your plays? What you brought him in so he can hopefully call plays? What the fuck does that even mean? It's typical bullshit from Jimbo Fisher.
did he ever follow up?
No.
Okay.
Of course not.
Of course not.
Just do it out there.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Got to keep Vanderbilt on their toes.
What are you talking about?
I get that it's highly competitive and the recruiting wars are highly competitive and kids transfer now all the time and you got to battle NIL and coaches have to be professional bullshit artists. They do. He's not a professional bullshit artist. He makes himself look stupid. Dude, I have supported Texas A&M football from day one, them moving to the SEC. Been on their side. People jumped on them, called them Benedict Arnold. The Aggies are a bunch of weirdos. They got a bunch of old school milkmen running around posing as cheerleaders.
That's why it always made sense to me. If that's an SEC school, like
Right.
that fits.
Yeah, agricultural, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a great school.
Midnight
60,000
yell
students.
and overalls.
Some of the most great
That's
innovators.
SEC.
Some of the biggest scientific minds in the South come out of Texas A&M. I've supported A&M. The school, yes, but football, I've supported them too. That football program, I'm just about done with A&M. All that hype and all that shit with Saban, and we've bought the greatest recruiting class of all time, and Jimbo Fisher's a national champion, and they haul off and go 5-7 last year and lose 6 games in a row at one point. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm sick of A&M football, and it's their fault I'm sick of them. They should change the name of the A&M football program to the Can't Get Rights and not the Aggies anymore. They ain't real Aggies. If they take a dump this year, again, the Aggie brass may have to have a referendum on what to do with Jimbo. It ain't working.
What is take a dump at this? I mean, is 8-4?
No. Well, see, in a lot of Aggies' minds, it is that is take a dump. They go 8-4. That's freaking progress.
It's
from
progress,
5-7.
but it's also, I mean, what, $120 million investment in your coaching staff alone.
But they got all the money in the world. They got all the money in the world. They just bought the most expensive recruiting class of all time,
and half of them left.
So who cares? I know.
College,
they're an ass whip.
As someone who has fully been a full-throated proponent of NIL and the transfer portal and more freedom for the actual working force of the sport, it's a bit out of control at the moment.
It needs some regulation,
and that's where. And if the answer is, like the NCAA keeps telling us, Congress will fix it. They got to fix it. Like that makes me even less hopeful for what the next 5 years are going to look like.
I mean, if I'm a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old kid, and Jeff Traylor's got this paint and body shop wants to give me $40,000 to sign. Cool, I'll take that $40,000 right now in cash. And then 6 weeks from now, Bobby Petrino's Pizza Parlor up in Fayetteville, they offer me a deal. I'm going to jump and go to Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm now
get 40 more.
I'm a hog now.
Yeah, exactly. And then 3 months later, USC, you strike a deal with In-N-Out Burger. You're good. They're chasing the money, the marketing. Why the fuck wouldn't they? It's on the system that kind of regulated. And I'm with Lane Kiffin. Maybe shorten the transfer windows a bit. Lane's pro NIL,
right?
But it's out of control. It's a wildfire.
Right.
It's not what like democracy. Even like the working man. You can't just shit You can't just. It's set up where you can shit on your employer.
But I would also argue, wasn't Graham Harrell the offensive coordinator of Tech, TCU, and USC all in the same off-season?
Yeah, but that's rare. That doesn't always happen.
But that's see fine. Coaches.
Well, here's what all this is going to do. It's going to make would-be advertisers think twice about paying kids to go.
Exactly. And if that's the case,
can't trust anybody.
Then the market will stabilize and
go down.
Normalize
Maybe
itself.
So, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know what the. And I'm with Lane. I'm with my boy Lane.
It's a recurring trend. Boy, he's an orca.
Fuck yeah.
He's top of the dolphin
chain. He's the leader of the pod.
He's Free Willy. Yeah.
I don't know what the answers are, but I do know that it's a little out of control.
It feels like it.
I don't want to deregulate it.
No.
I don't want to like just fucking shut it down. I should say
or hyper-regulate.
Yeah. Something's got to be done. All right. R&R Auto Glass is a fine company, a fine locally based San Antonio company. Easy to find. They take all insurances. They are right down the street by the airport at 281 in Tacoma, and they are fast. Nothing beats your ass like having to go deal with stuff like, the glass in my car is broken. But no, now I'm gonna be without a car for 6 days. I may have to carpool or Uber or get a buddy to come pick me up. That don't happen at R&R Auto Glass. They got a huge inventory of stuff over there to fix your car quick. It is R&R Poodle San Antonio Zone. And by the way, don't forget to mention me and get the Taylor Especial. It is R&R Auto Glass. Brandon Miller, the second overall pick for the Charlotte Hornets. Bobcats. Got it right the first time. Yeah. Still get that wrong.
Bob Higgins is...
Bob Higgins.
Wasn't that the guy's name? The media mogul who renamed them the Bobcats after himself?
Oh, yeah.
There's not Bobcats.
Why not? There's no Bobcats. Brandon Miller called Victor Wembanyama an animal when asked it because the summer league's over. Everybody's going to go get a little break, chill out, and report back for training camp. Brandon Miller, the kid from Alabama, we talked about him.
Johnson.
Oh, Johnson. Talked about Miller some this year. But he was asked about Wembanyama this week when the Vegas Summer League wrapped up and said that Wembanyama is an animal after witnessing his, never before seen aptitude on the court for a man of his size and athleticism. That's the word I came up with. And was basically saying, I don't even know what they're going to list him. He's just an animal. That's what Miller was saying.
Oh, what?
He's
Position-wise?
not a center.
No.
I don't know what he is. He's just now a 7'4" animal from Paris, Victor Wembanyama.
Pretty much.
That's what Brandon Miller was saying. Just call him a fucking animal. I've been waiting to see how long it would take for guys to start saying they want to be Spurs. We're not used to that. Now, of course, this is a Frenchman, and he's a spare. But did you see what Evan Fournier was saying?
Oh, the Frenchman.
The Frenchman, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to turn into the French national team?
Don't Google his name.
Really?
Well, there's
exactly what I'm about to go do.
There's something very. It's confusing. Yeah, just write down Google Fournier.
Not fornication.
No. Just Google.
Am I going to see fornication? No.
No, you're going to see the results of some bad fornication.
Oh, okay. Fornication. Okay. Well, he wants to bring his fornication down here.
Of course he does.
He was asked because there's a rumor in New York that the Spurs are interested in Evan Fournier in a trade. Yeah, see. So he was point blank asked about it, and he's like, I don't know, but he did go out of his way to talk about how great it would be to come down here and be a Spur, and went on and loves pop, and
he's a guy that I always
build chemistry with Wemby for the Olympics next year in Paris.
I'm surprised he hasn't been a Spur in his entire career, especially as much as he's bounced around. He feels like a guy that probably should have worn the.
He's just a rando. He's an okay veteran player. He fell out of favor in New York. He didn't play. He's a spare. I wonder how. Maybe not just Frenchmen. Will this lead to? And it's something that we're not used to around here. Guys around the NBA actually getting sports horny to come play with the Spurs for the first time. I think it could happen, especially maybe younger kids, because it's cool.
Yeah.
They want to, so they could get an NIL deal, come to San Antonio or whatever.
Being the HEB commercials with Wemby.
Yeah, so I think I can't tell you how excited I am for the season, how hyped I am to get into training camp. I'm going to be by the channel for the preseason, which is so out of character for me. I am usually Mr. I don't give a shit. Wake me up when the game matters, and that ain't this year, man. It is locked down every time they play. Cannot wait. He gets hurt, ain't watching him anymore.
Fair,
but as long as he's on the court, even when he sucks or he's in a bad week or he's having trouble or whatever, or he's kicking ass, I'm gonna watch that kid every chance I get, and I'm excited, and I can't wait to see how the politics start going here downtown with the. Clearly, they want to move. They want to move, and they want to raise that shit barn they plan and get over on the other side of 37 and play over there. And they want the mission. The whole thing right now is just cool. And I'm excited about the techies from Austin that have helped with money. They just opened up the big center on the north side. We're getting ready, and it's going to happen. They're going to find a way. Peter J. Holt is going to find a way to get this shit done. Graham Weston and that group, they're going to get this done. And we're going to have a new arena with a beautiful minor league ballpark with and all that shopping and hotels and clubbing and all that shit that was supposed to happen on the east side will actually happen.
Of course, it'll happen now. Yeah, sure. Of course. Yeah,
let's go, baby.
Yeah, I mean,
let's go.
Promises a 20-year plan of development to re-invitalize the east side. The city gave up on that in 6 months.
Got so many whores on that side of town. I'm surprised we don't have our own serial killer.
Okay, well, or do we? No, it has been fun watching the people. I say just move those first 2 blocks right there on the east side. Just get rid of them. Build the stadium right there. Just build it right in the parking lot of the Alamo Dome. It's like, hey, like we're. I live there. Let's not just rush to. Have the city eminently domain.
They were to tear down the dome. We'd have a lot of room.
Well, then that's the other thing. People that are like, "We'll just tear down the dome." Like, okay, that's not happening either.
Tell me it wouldn't create a lot of land.
Well, that is true, but it's not too practical.
All right, before we go, it is time to start thinking about Cowboys overreact. Puma and I and LG are going to be doing Cowboys post-game shows. How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Once again this season, after all games home and away, we're going to have special days where we go on location to do our post-game show, which we will talk about that as we get closer and closer to it. But we will be doing this show or we'll be doing Cowboys Overreact, rather, after all the games. So what do we need, LG? We need a title sponsor.
Yeah, we could use one of those.
We could use one of them.
We could use a bunch of other stuff too. We need to buy some headsets so we're not bumming them off of Shoning anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would help.
Every time we need extra gear, we have to go beg Bill Shoning's son to let us borrow some. I'd like to take our show to the level where we don't need to do that anymore. It'd be cool.
It'd be nice.
Be nice. So it's time to start thinking about post-game show, boys. Training camp is in a month. Not even. God, it's in 2 weeks. What am I thinking? It's in a week and a half. I had a brain fart.
2 weeks.
The season will be here before you know it. A fortnight is when training camp begins. We need a title sponsor. Reach out to me or Puma or LG about becoming a title sponsor.
What do we get for $10?
Cowboys Overreact. You'll get for a little bit more than $10, but not enough to break you. Or maybe you get some buddies together and you boys get in together. Hit me up, DM me, shoot me an email. We want to do a kick-ass Cowboy post-game show this year, and we need a title sponsor in order to pull it off the way we want to. All right. That is it. That's all I got. We're done.
Big sports weekend.
The Nigerian soccer team and the Slovakian hockey team.
How about the
what do we
U.S.
got?
women tonight at 8 o'clock, their first game of the World Cup?
Oh, okay.
And a big
Cool.
Rangers-Dodgers weekend series.
Oh, Rangers are going to win the World Series.
I mean, I don't think they're going to lose another game.
Swept the Braves' asses.
They're undefeated since going a combined 0 for 9 in the All-Star game and being the reason the AL lost for the first time in over a decade. But hey!
The All-Star game doesn't matter. Who gives a
That's
shit?
right.
Fuck them. Go
We're
Rangers.
winning the ones that matter.
That's right. All right. Screw Hey Ohtani. He can stay in California. They don't need him
Well,
anyway.
unless he wants to sign an extension. And then come on down
Come
to
on
Texas.
down here. All right, that's it. We're done. Love you boys hard. Thank you for another week. It's 5 weeks into doing this. Thank you to DJ LG and Puma. And thank you to me.
Okay.
We'll see you boys in here on Monday. Shout out to my boy Lane Kiffin. Go Rebs. Love you hard.
Come back, you puppy!
This program was made possible by contributions from viewers and listeners like you. Thank you.
This is a Bronx-bound